All right, so what up, everybody? I'm back at it again with another video. Now, this video is going to ask you a question about how do you know when God is talking to you in your head? You know, because a lot of people say God's talking to them. I've seen a lot of videos like that. And I kind of wonder that. But before we get into it, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit a like, and drop a comment, and let me know what you think about this, all right? Now, back to the video. So, I've always wondered that because, like, I've seen, like, a lot of videos where people are saying on there, like, oh, God's, stopped me and told me that I needed to tell you this, and God told me that I needed to pass along this message, and they're like, this God came and told me that I needed to say this. God told me that I needed to pass along, create a new video and like let people know this stuff. You know what I mean? A message for somebody, so like, I always wondered, like, how do you know it's God talking to you? You know what I'm saying? Like, how do I, how do I know someone else is talking to me in my own head? Because the only reason why I'm asking is because, yeah, there is some times where, like, I'm sitting there, like right now, I just driving on my way to work, you know what I mean? And I could just be staring off into outer space, like, and then out of nowhere, it's like, bam, like, you just get, like, this idea that pops into your head. Oh, like right now I'm passing Lucky Wishbone, right? It could just be like, oh, you know what? Lucky Wishbone would be a good idea for a video, like, and then you just kind of like snap out of it, and you're like, oh shit, Lucky Wishbone would be a good idea to make a video out of, you know what I mean? Like, not even thinking about it, not even sitting here thinking about like, oh, well, like, what should be my next video idea? You know what I mean? It just, boom, it pops up into your head, you know what I'm saying? Like, things like that happen to me, like, where there's just thoughts that come into my head, that say the things like that, like, oh, you know what, that's a good video idea, or this should be a good video idea, and I take them into consideration, but then I wonder sometimes, I'm like, where did that come from? Like, like, a lot of people will tell you it's your intuition, now, depending on like what your beliefs are, you would say different things, like some people would say it was God talking to me. God gave me the idea. I was sitting there one day and God gave me this idea. I put it into my head that I should do this. You know what I mean? Like, but other people would be like, oh, well, it's your intuition. Your intuition is what's guiding you into what you should be doing. Because I swear, if you tell anybody around here that you got this voice talking to you in your head, telling you to do some things, they're going to look at you a little funny and they're going to think like you're going crazy or something. You know what I mean? Like, there's people that have been put in like insane asylums because of the fact that they've been saying that they've been hearing shit in their head. So it's like, it's kind of like one of those things where it's like borderline, where you do want to say something, but then you don't, because then what's going to happen when someone really finds out, or some kind of authority finds out, and then what? You end up in a little 4x4 cell block with a bunch of white cushions all over it, so you don't hurt yourself kind of situation. I don't know. I've never been into one of those, so I wouldn't know if that's really what they look like, but it sounds like that's what they look like, right? At least I see in movies, you know what I mean? But I don't know. It's just kind of that I had that question, you know what I mean? Like, how do I know it's God talking to me? And then for you guys, if I'm pretty sure someone's watching this video and like they're thinking in their head, like, damn, like, I hear that voice all the time. Like, so, like, how do we know? Like, do you guys, like, what I've been trying to figure out is like when I hear those thoughts or like these ideas come up or like these voice, comes into my head, I think to myself, like, wait, hold on, like, is that like in my own voice or is that someone else's voice? Because that's the only way you're going to try to figure this out. Like, if you think to yourself, like, okay, well, did that sound like me or did it not sound like me? That's how you try to tell the difference between them. At least I think so, But that's another question that I had for myself was like, yo, like, is the voice that's in my head the same voice that I have, or is it a different voice? Or is it someone else talking? Or what's going on? But I don't know. Because like how like everyone and even people that have written stuff for the Bible and things like that, right? They say like God came and talked to me. God talked to me and told me to do this. Like, there was a guy that talked to a burning bush. Like if he talked to a burning bush, you tell anyone nowadays, I talked to a burning bush, they told me to do this. Like they're gonna tell you like, what burning bush are you smoking? They're gonna tell you, you know what I mean? Like because we're now in a society where a lot of that stuff is kind of like seen like as you're crazy, you know what I mean? Especially with the heavy amount of homelessness and drug addiction that we have nowadays, you know what I mean? Like it's kind of one of those things where you just think someone's crazy. At least, from what I've seen and heard. You see people out in the streets talking to themselves, you know what I mean? Like walking some bipolar. Oh, sorry, I started reading their license, but I don't know what the hell that's it. Um, where you start seeing all these people doing some crazy stuff out in the streets, like acting funny out in the streets. Like, and sometimes you'll be walking by them and they're like, oh, God is going to save me. Like, God was talking to me and saying all this stuff. And then you're just like, damn, like, you kind of put yourself in that space where you're like, well, I don't want to sound like them. You know what I mean? I don't want to go around saying like God's talking to me or stuff like that, right? Excuse me. That God's talking to me or saying that someone's talking to me in my head and telling me like I should do this and that, or accomplish this. Like, I don't know. But that was my question. Like, I want to really know, like, from people that have heard the God voice in their head, like, how do you know the difference? Like, explain it to me because I want to understand it. Like, I want to know because I hear, like I told you guys, like, it's happened to me where, like, I hear shit, like, in my head, just random. I could be doing nothing. Like, just, like I said, staring off into outer space, like I showed you guys earlier. And then, boom, like, this voice comes into my head and tells me, like, hey, you should do this. And it's like, whoa, like, damn, I should do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a good idea. Yeah, that's how like I got one of my ideas for a video that I'm gonna do in this coming weeks. In this coming like weekends, since we're gonna have extra days off at work finally. I'm gonna be able to try to do something. So, you know, that's why now like I'm kind of questioning that, like, what's that voice in my head? Who is that voice in my head? Because I just want to know if people have been like just putting this, like, science tells you is your intuition, you know what I mean? Like, and all the science and astrologers and astrologers, and, the spiritual people will tell you it's your intuition, like religious people will tell you it's the Holy Spirit, it's God talking to you, you know what I mean? Because apparently God came and talked to a lot of people. And God could be talking to a lot of us, right? Like, he could be telling us to do this, do that, get that done. You know what I mean? But we're kind of pushing it up to the side or just thinking of something else, you know what I mean? But outside of that, if any of you guys have any opinions in regards to what that voice in your head is or who it could be or what it could be, you know what I mean? Let me know in the comments, you know what I mean? Because I will definitely want to know. I want to find out who that is or what it is or what we think it is and should we listen to it, you know what I mean? Because sometimes they got some pretty good ideas, I'm not going to lie. But outside of that, um, that's gonna be it for today. My little rant for the day, my video for the day. You know what I mean? Like, I just wanted to bring that up because I've really been questioning that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm almost here to work again. And I'll talk to you guys later. All right. Peace out.